This is the SOLIDWORKS drawing test for the tools, and this is the document that you can find on SOLIDWORKS certification. I've downloaded the source files here, so make sure that you download these off of the SOLIDWORKS Certification Center and unzip these, and we're going to get going on the test here. So the test questions, the first thing that we're going to cover here is how to find this angle. There's a couple different things that we need to cover as part of this drawing sheet, so we need to use the drawing sheet that they provide because they have a line in here that we need to measure this part here to that reference. So the first thing we need to do is open that drawing sheet. Sample draw one according to the instructions. So here you can see the sheet in place. And we need to also get that widget open as part of this. So here we've got the widget, and according to the test questions here, that says to open sample draw, which we did. Don't modify line A, or otherwise it's going to mess up the answer. Insert front view of the widget as shown. So as part of this, if you guys can remember, we open up the widget file itself. The part itself is kind of candywampus because they imported this as a imported object, so we can't make any direct modifications on this. There are certain ways to do this by using the direct editing, and you can move bodies and things of that nature. I find it's significantly faster if we go into sample the drawing itself. We go to insert, drawing views, and relative to model. By doing so, it's going to ask us to select the model that we want to make an adjustment with and use the planar face. When you do that, it's going to bring you into this relative view option, and it's going to ask you to select two different orientations, and those are enough to make that connection to the drawing. So the front view, we'll just select that face for front here, and then we can select either left or whatever, or if you want to rotate the model to the right, then we're going to select this face here for our left view. So by doing so, this is going to orient everything into the correct place for the orientation. Now you can see that that has been imported properly, and now we can begin with this in the correct location. So before we do anything else, what we want to do is lock this model to the view to actually make a measurement, because right now if we were to select our dimension tool, you notice that our line is not selectable. And you instinctively want to go here and do a convert and sketch, which is available, but that also won't work. To be able to do this, what you need to do, right click on the model, go to lock view focus, select the line right here, because in the test here we're going to be measuring from this angle right here. So we select this, hit a convert, go use our drawing selection tool, boop, and now you notice that as soon as I do this, this line now turns orange instead of having no connection. So now the answer 20.85, obviously we're over to driving this dimension, but I actually have a screen grab of the answer keys, 20.85, so that's first. Okay, so that is the answer for the first one, and let's move on. Okay, this is a multiple choice, but we already have the answer key, so we're good to go. Okay, option 2, we're creating a projected view, and in this case we're going to be creating a projected measurement of y. So we don't have to worry about a at this point, we're just creating our standard A projected view according to this right here. Use a drawing, create the front view, the A projected view, and angle dimension. What is the value? And you notice right here it says dimension type projected. If you guys can remember from class that we need to make sure that that's set to projected in this particular case, otherwise we would be using the true values of that measurement. So first thing is, let's unlock this model. We'll right click and go unlock view focus, so we have the ability to move that. Next, if we go up to drawing, we're going to create a projected view. We'll just measure right there. and we'll select this. Scroll to our options, and right here is what we're looking for, projected. Okay. Now if we select our measurement tool, or you can just go to annotation, use smart dimension there. And again, let's take another look at what it's asking us to measure. We're measuring from that line. It's kind of hard to see there, but it's this line right here to this line right there. So let's take a look at that. We'll measure this to this. According to this measurement, if we zoom in, 20.01. Let's take a look at our answer key. 20.01. Good to go. Alright, do that. Not going to need that view now. Move this more in the middle because I think I know what's coming next. Alright. Okay, view number 3. It's asking us to do, okay, projected, and using front view, create view FF, dimensions aid, and create FF, measure the perimeter. So we're going to be doing a cross section or a sectioned cut into the drawing itself and measuring this shaded hashed area right here. So it's highlighting it in this upper one right here. We're only going to be measuring this part right here. So that's what we're doing with this. And then you can see from the instructions, we're drawing a line that connects from this hole to that hole, and we've got a 10 offset right here. There's a drop. Okay, so we'll make sure that that's all lined up, and then we will try our measurement. So let's go back into our drawing, and we're going to go zoom a little bit to make this easy. Drawing, and we're going to go section view. So let's take another look at that. So we're going to line this up right here, down, and then to here. So we're going to have this is going to be a straight segment, and we're going to create a straight section view, and we're going to create one segment. So if we open up section view, we can start with just this kind of line right here, which is this option for the cutting line. Use this as a reference point. It really doesn't matter which one you want to do. We'll start there. And then right here is our single offset. By doing this, we're going to click here. Oh, let's try that again. Let's click right about here, and then we'll click there. And that should finish up at least the section part. Let's move this down. We can rename this to FF if we want to, but we don't really need to do that. If you want to, you can change that value right here. Alright, and then the other thing it's asking us to do is to create a dimension of 10 from this edge to this outside edge right there. So let's go ahead and do that. Grab our dimension. Okay. Set that to 10, and oh, that didn't work. That's interesting. Well, oh well, maybe that doesn't matter. Alright. It's not wanting to work, is it? That's interesting, isn't it? Alright, well, let's measure our area. Maybe we're good anyway. 792. That looks like it to me. I don't know about you guys. See, there's our area. So let's go to the answer key. We can move on. Okay, we've got an issue here. So I'm guessing it's because of this 10 right here. So let's make an adjustment. If everybody remembers, what we need to do is actually go into this and edit the line. To do so, if we right click on here, go into the original drawing, we have this option, and once we select this here, there we go. We're going to go edit cutting line. So again, we need to make sure that we're touching that line right there. Select this, and we're going to go edit cutting line. Now we can use these tools to move things around, but that's not what we're going for. And by the way, it looks like the 10 just worked. That's kind of strange. Well, anyway, we'll edit the sketch anyway. Make sure. Yeah, that looks fine to me. Okay, so we edit it. Maybe that's what we needed to do. Let's go ahead and measure it. Oh, forgot to rebuild. Measure again. Okay, so we're still having an issue. So this is really important to understand why we're having this issue. It's because of the fact that if we go back up to our edit line, and we actually go into it again, you notice something about this. Edit sketch. If you notice this, but this line right here is solid, this line this here is solid, but the line in the middle is a construction line. We know this because if we click here, look at our properties, this is not selected for construction. This not selected for construction. This, however, is set for construction. And by doing so, when it's doing this crosscut, it's not considering this area right here as part of its calculation. So we need to uncheck that, and now we have a solid line. Hit our checkbox, exit this. Now let's scroll back here. Measure this again. Okay, something has changed. 924.12. Let's check our answer key. 924.12. So that was your issue for this particular object. You're going to have to make sure that you are aware to how to do this. So probably a good idea to bookmark this video so you can review that while you're going through this, or actually while you're taking the test. Next question. Okay, now we're getting to build of materials for the bomb list. So the Nerf Dart rocket launcher. Okay, so we're done with this. So let's go ahead and close this. We're going to close this. It's asking us to use the sheet that it provided as part of this. Sample draw 2. Let me scale this so everybody can see. And the instructions are indicating that we want to insert the ISO of the launcher. That's the DSLAM, so that's going to be your assembly for the launcher. And then we've got a bunch of BOM related things that we need to configure. So let's go through that. So as part, remember, you're seeing your palette right here. You do not necessarily have to have the assembly open to insert it, but you need to open your palette here. It usually is found on the right. So right there is my palette button, that icon right there. And it's not open as assembly, so it's not going to appear in the drop down, but we can click this. Let's open up this, and it asks us to open the launcher. We can do a rebuild, that's fine. And now it just said the ISO, but it really doesn't matter. You can do whatever view you want. Isometric, make that pretty. Okay, the next thing is we're going to select this, and then we're going to go to a BOM. So with the bomb, we can right click, make sure this is selected. Hit tables and BOM right here, the bill of materials. Or you can also go here and go up to the insert tables, and your bomb is right there. So we should have a standard template. If you don't, that's okay, but make sure that you do this before you actually start the test. We can walk through in class if you don't know how to get this standardized, because that's a linkage thing. So let's look at the instructions as to what it's expecting. Top level only, which is already selected. So that's the BOM type. The configurations, as a side note, definitely make a note of this. If the test has a part or an assembly as part of the actual test you're taking, make sure you pay attention to which configuration you're supposed to use. Sometimes it will give you an assembly that's RNA configuration that is not the correct one, so please pay attention to that. The part configuration grouping displays one item number, which is the checkbox at the top here. And it says display all configurations are the same as one item. Display all configurations, the same item as one item. We're good to go there. Item numbers start at 1, increment of 1. That is down here. That says first column should be item number, but we're not there yet. Allow item numbers to change when reordering rows. So this is the opposite logic here. Right now that little log is locked. So if you click this, it will not allow the item number to change, and that will mess up the result. So make sure that that is unchecked. So in other words, it says allow item numbers to change when reordering the rows. That's that little checkbox right there. So everything else has to do with us adding information to this. So the bomb is set up to be inserted, and we just hit our check. We're going to place it in our drawing now. And now we need to update the table to have the correct information. So in this case, the first column should be item no, and it is. Second column should be the custom property, so this is key right here, custom property, part NO. Right now it says part number. So let's make sure that that is, if that's an actual custom property, and it's not. So the column type is set to part number, but that is incorrect. We want to go to the custom property option right here. And again, where it says custom property, that's where that information is found. So when I click this, go to custom property, and then part NO is one of the custom items that they added to the part list. So that's in the properties. Okay, so that's set. The third is the description for this column, which is good. Fourth is the quantity. So all we had to do is check this. Now it's saying find the quantity of the sub trigger ASSY for assembly, part number 2222 32421, and the assembly, and select it from the choices given. Then you got 4 choices. So all we need to look for is making sure sub trigger assembly and this part number, sub trigger assembly, and here's your part number 2222 32421. It's asking what the quantity is, if I'm not mistaken. Find the quantity. The answer should be A, quantity 2. A, quantity 2. Next one is probably going to start adding some things, I'm guessing. Using the BOM, modify the BOM so it's sorted by part number. So we're going to click here. So now we're going to be sorting by this. So to do that, it's really simple. We're just going to right click here. Again, you need to right click, not left click. The left click just brings that up. Right click gives you these other options. And we're looking for our sort option, which is right here. Now it's asking us to sort by part number, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, part number in ascending order. So let's take a look at this, ascending order. Although, it's interesting, it's saying part number. I wonder what that's looking for. We'll try both, we'll see if that's actually correct. Okay. So, as part of this, we're saying part number, ascending order, blah, blah, blah. What is the number component identified by X? And it's pointing to this right here. And remember that this BOM is actually linked directly to this, so all you need to do is click here. In fact, I'll even click in the same area as what the image shows. Right there. You notice immediately the item highlights. Okay. And then the answer, the question that it's asking for is what is the item number of the component identified by X? Item number in this case is going to be 1 for that. I'm just curious if we need to change this back. I wonder if this is a typo, because in theory they said, see this where it says order by part number. Okay, let's go ahead and sort it by this. I'm just curious. Part number, ascending. Then click this. Main body, item 2. Main body, item 2. So we just make sure that we indicate, I'm clicking on X right there. There, main body. Let's see what the answer is. Item 1. So I'm taking a wild guess here that when SOLIDWORKS created this particular question, which is kind of ironic, it's saying sort by part number, but up here they have another part number which they call part NO as part of the custom properties, but they did not say update that. So if we follow this logic of saying let's set this to the custom property and it's the part NO, and we sort by this, sort, right, by part NO, hit OK. Click this, it's launching this, which is item number 1, top of the screen, and according to their answer key, it's item 1, which that will be correct. Let's try this though. Sort, part number, ascending. Item number 2. Item number 1. So you see the discrepancy there. Was not an issue on the main test. I think someone just wasn't paying attention when they did that. So, little safety tip. Okay, so just pay extra attention to what they're doing, and if you have an issue, then we'll go call SolveWorks and say what's up. Last question, total cost. So this is something that we did in class as to adding these different columns. So it's asking add one column named total cost. So they did this in the example here. They added a total cost column. What I would recommend doing, even on the test and in this test, is practice doing two things. Create a cost per item and then create a total cost. That way you can spot check to make sure you're not missing something. So we're going to insert a column to the right, and then we're going to do that again. So we're going to have two open columns. This first one, we'll go ahead and set this to the property. It's going to be custom. It's going to be the cost. So again, this is brought in by, in fact, I'll probably just go into this so you guys can see this. This is a custom property on the part level. Okay, so here's our individual cost. And now, if you can remember, we're not going to actually select this for this column. We're going to create an equation, which is right here. So I'm clicking the header, which is F right there. Click on your equation. Now we're going to go grab our cost. Shift 8 for our multiplier, the asterisk. Then we're going to go select our quantity, Q2Y. We can set a precision 2 just to make it clean up a little bit if we feel like it. We don't have to do that. Okay, so we can tell that 3 units at $1.25 each is $3.75, so our math looks like it's doing its job. Okay, and the last thing it's asking us to do is create a sum at the total cost at the bottom right here. So to do that, we're going to insert not a column, but a row underneath everything. So it's going to be a row below, and if you select your bottommost row, this will be nice and clean. And instead of doing this entire column, what we're going to be doing is selecting the equation only for this particular field right here, this cell. So by clicking this time we are going to use that sum function, and because our cursor is between the left paren and right paren right there, what I'm going to do is select these guys right here. It's going to select 1, 2, 3, 4 fields to create a summation of. Once we hit check, we've got a total of $30.364. We got $33.64. So pay attention when it comes to the details of that. I actually think that, ironically, because you guys saying something about the part no versus the part number, I think we found a discrepancy we might actually need to talk to SolveWorks about for their test. That's interesting. Any more questions? Let me know, guys.